Welcome to Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
Right.
This is another gift from Magnificent Bastard Sean Seehusen.
Sean!
No, you still can't.
No, you made me self-conscious. You made me focus on it too hard.
Yeah, it's like thinking road. It's a weird word.
Sean Seehusen, you magnificent bastard.
So
Cedar Ridge.
We like Cedar Ridge.
The QuintEssential.
Yeah.
They hit the E.
Yeah,
the
and they trademarked it
Essential.
with a capital E.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
so we like Cedar Ridge because Cedar Ridge makes cool shit. They're one of the bigger distilleries in craft these days, and they are one of the only craft distilleries in a state whose whiskey now outsells the big brands.
Oh.
I don't remember this. We learned this a while ago. Cedar Ridge Bourbon replaced Jack Daniels.
I vaguely remember
and
this.
like all the big boys.
Yeah, so they are
as the most sold bourbon in the
Iowa,
state
yeah.
in Iowa.
They are crushing it in Iowa, though.
That's incredible,
I'd
right?
be interested to see a case study of how they started making contacts to get the distribution, also the awareness, get people to try it.
They also have a winery. They're a big production.
Okay.
Right?
So when you say craft, but craft is a very wide
Well, like think more like
spectrum.
Balcones size, Garrison size.
All right. Yeah.
Right.
So basically, it could be 20-fold times bigger than.
Okay. Now, before I pour it, they got into malt. They've been doing malt. And you and I are both American malt
American
fans.
malt's really
right?
interesting right now.
Because they own their own winery,
Yeah.
they are able to use their own finishing barrels.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? So this was malt barley from Canada. First cask was ex-bourbon. So it's used oak its whole life, right? After the ex-bourbon, they moved it into barrels that held brandy, rum, wine, port, and sherry. And then they take all the barrels that they decide to blend together and dump them into a Solera vat so that they rest and marry together.
Yeah. Can I tell you this right now?
Huh.
I put my nose in this. This is more akin to things you find in Scotch.
Oh, that smells nice.
It's super ripe berries.
Yeah, but it's less dark fruit and more apricot and peach.
Yes. And there's some blueberries mixed in there.
Yeah, it's a very like a light fruit bowl, not like the dense, heavily sherried scotches.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the dominating vanilla notes of a bourbon cask scotch
92 proof.
or
I saw
grain-forward malt notes.
No, it's not super malty at all. I looked at the color and I was like, okay, hopefully we're not skimping on age or something. But on the nose so far, there's plenty in that glass. This is really nice. And I think if you're really into Scotch, and again, I'm basing this on just the nose, but at this point, if you're really into Scotch and you're curious about American malt and you don't want to go too far into unfamiliar territory, I think this could be great, again, based on the nose alone. Now I taste it with my mouth hole.
This is batch 5.
Oh, okay. There's another little thing. I'll wait for you to get in there.
Ooh.
It's like they added an American char layer
Yeah.
to like a Speyside Highland kind of Scotchy flavor set.
It has this sort of like
And there's kind of thin.
ghosted oak.
It's the tiniest bit too thin for me.
Yeah.
Like these flavors.
Well, it's 96.
It's
right?
92.
92, I mean 46.
Yeah.
So
if these flavors were probably above 50, I think they would probably be
just oily
a
and
little bit more
dense.
potent and nice and rich.
I'll tell you, it's such a good whiskey. It stands up to 92. But it's definitely missing a mid palate.
But you
note.
can tell it wants to give you a little bit more, and it's not there at that.
Now,
proof.
I will say there is this sort
But
of
it's
like
good. It's good.
this oaky char note that's not quite reaching a smoky wooden tannin level.
Yeah.
And so I would call it like
Barrel
a ghost of oak.
Yeah.
Like this just hazy, foggy hint of oak in the distance. But it's being dominated by fruit and barley.
Yeah, that does play nicely together. That kind of thin wisp of the charcoal. I'm not going to say under the fruitiness. It's actually hovering over the fruitiness. It's like a little thin, wispy blanket.
Man, that is good.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I like that. You know what it actually is? It's very Speyside-like.
I know.
I know it's
That's what I'm saying.
I know I'm saying it,
Yeah.
but it's very Speyside-like.
Damn no.
Well
Oh,
done.
hold on.
Man, you know what?
Go ahead.
This is terrible to admit.
Okay.
this distillery should live in my head as
You forget
one of
about
the
it.
top tiers.
No, you forget about
Right?
it because the name is kind of nondescript.
Well, and
whatever.
also because they're in Iowa, I think.
Yeah, Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge sounds
And
like...
nothing good comes from Iowa.
Cedar Ridge sounds like the store brand
Peter.
of like... Yeah, no. Peter, he knows. This is not a surprise to Peter. Cedar Ridge sounds like the generic store brand of some REI knockoff.
Yeah. It's the house brand.
Yeah.
It's a Cedar Ridge backpack.
Yeah.
It's like Eagle Creek, Cedar Ridge.
Yeah, it does. So I too am impressed by the whiskeys that we've had
Yeah.
from them. But it's such an forgettable name, Cedar Ridge.
Name a musician that you never really think about and doesn't really encounter for you, but then you hear it and you're like, damn it, that's good. I keep forgetting that they exist, because I have one.
Okay. Well, go ahead with yours, because you got one.
Wallflowers.
Wallflowers. Yeah, we talked about the Wallflowers.
Yeah. No, this is a band that, like, every time I hear them, I think, that's good. But I never think of them on the fly when I'm thinking about what music I want to play while I'm driving or something.
Yeah.
Except Bring Down the Horse. That's one of the best albums that ever came out of the 90s.
Yeah. Steve Miller Band.
Really?
The Joker and Fly Like an Eagle. Those are great. But
Fly like an eagle.
yeah.
eagle.
Then I always forget
Enter the
about Beck, but he had like
future.
some really.
No, Beck is definitely it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guero is the best Beck album, I think.
Well, Loser by Beck is
The song.
It's my heart song.
Ba-na-na-na.
Here's how much.
I'm a loser, baby.
Here's how
Why
much
don't you come in?
Brianna. In the ways that we're similar, we're very similar. In the ways that we're different, we're polar opposites. But here's to the extent that she gets me. We were making a playlist for the bar, and I was like, "Oh, we got to do "Loser" by Beck." She goes, "I think that's like your. I think of that song. I'm like, that's your song. That identifies. That represents you." Like, I've never told anybody that. It really does.
I don't want to know what she thinks my song is. I just don't want to know.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it's hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah, relentlessly haunting. Actually.
So good news.
Great whiskey.
The moment I got into this, I was like 90 proof, 92 proof. I feel like there's more to give at a little bit higher of a proof. But a few sips in, that initial, I'm not gonna say wateriness is too aggressive of a word, but that initial, it's a thinness. It's kind of like.
I can tell you what it's like.
What's it like?
It's like when you get Glenfiddich or Glenmorangie and think, this is a great whiskey, I wish it was a little hotter.
Yeah. But that kind of just diminished presentation, the more I go back to it, the more that it's less wispy.
See,
wispy is the word. I acclimate to the wispiness, and it becomes just, oh, this is balanced, this is where it should be.
Yeah.
Most whiskeys are different. They start out strong, and the more you acclimate, it gives you less and less and less. This went in the other direction.
So I agree, but in a positive direction in that same discussion, I think this could hold its own with the big boys from Speyside on the lower proof, like Glenfiddich, Glenmorangie.
The stuff that's not super old age statements.
Yeah, but it's all 40 or 43 or 46.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you put this in there,
That could go toe to toe.
it's going to go toe to toe and beat, as needed.
And you get that extra little fun layer of like the.
It reminds me of when they do things like, this is virgin oak scotch. And it just has this little hint of wood tannin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, beyond the tannin, it is that char. That kind of it's not smoke. It's not quite smoke. It doesn't quite reach the level of smoke.
Cedar Ridge doing cool shit.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it's not just in the bourbon and the rye. That's also in the malt.
They know what they're doing. I wish I would remember the name more often. You know what? For the next hidden gem thing, we should.
Dude, the son is the head distiller.
Yeah.
His name is Murphy Quint. That's one cool ass name.
Sounds like a distiller name.
Murphy Quint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That should be on the bottle name.
Eric Snellgrove. Nonsensical chatter equals awesomeness.
Yeah, he's responding to guys like, what is this bullshit? It's just nonsensical chatter.
It's like the whole, the welcome video talks about, sometimes we remember to discuss this. The whiskey reviews are just a bonus.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's sort of the whole purpose of this channel, yeah.
But we did focus on the whiskey a lot on this one.
We did, well, because it was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
you see why I was looking forward to it?
What was it? I wouldn't say amazing.
No, I do.
I would say great. I'd say it's a great whiskey.
I would say that, okay, you know what? Yes, sure. Because I guess what's making it amazing to me is that I'm so excited that the category of American malt
Oh, yeah.
is now eye to eye, in my opinion, with all the great malts in the historical malt regions of the world, right? Like we're no longer like the plucky upstart. Like I think American malt is like standing in the room, eye level, holding their own. And this is an example of like normally when I say that, it's the guys making remarkable, unique outliers who are going toe to toe. But this whiskey is wading right into the historical Scotch profiles and holding its own.
I think American whiskey
And that's cool as shit.
may be ready for a moment similar to the Judgment of Paris.
Oh, we'd already had it.
When was that?
Balcones
No,
did
no,
it.
no, no, no. There wasn't enough though. It was kind of like an outlier moment where, oh my gosh, there's this Balcones and they're just amazing. I think since then there have been enough distillers making American single malts that have come into the market and proven amazing. So rather than
it's the same as the Judgment of Paris though, because that was the same then too. There were a bunch of California wineries, but it was still new to the world of wine.
But my point is, there were a bunch of California wineries during the Judgment of Paris.
Right.
During Balcones, there wasn't a bunch of American.
There were about the same amount.
Nah, like, dude, the extent that within the past 2 years, even just 2 years, this is well beyond Balcones winning the big thing.
Yes.
There have been, I don't know, like close to a dozen things that were not even available when Balcones won best single malt in the world.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I'm right.
But that I don't agree with
buts.
the Judgment
No
of
buts.
Paris versus Judgment
No
of
buts.
London.
No buts.
Yeah.
What was the first part you said again? Just cut right after.
Yeah. I said nothing.
Mate, Padgum. Probably dumb question. Yes, they do exist. I agree.
Yeah. Forget that kindergarten poster.
But where would I find the list of all the whiskeys sent into the channel? Does that not just live in the description?
I replied.
But,
no, but it doesn't live in the description, and I don't want it to. Because what it does is it blows up my email with, how come mine is 100th, but I know I put it in before that guy went, and so I had to put it on the top of the list in capital letters. This is not in chronological order.
Chronological order, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's really good.
But I replied to his comment and put the
Let's
link.
try and remember Cedar Ridge.
Who?
I don't know.
Eagle Creek? It's such a dick move. We have to be jerks a little, because otherwise it looks like we're fanboying over this whiskey.
I think they're capable of greatness.
Yeah.
What this would do with a little bit more time and a little bit higher proof, I think maybe it could turn into amazing. But
I don't know that it needs more time.
You don't think
but
so?
But I would like it at a higher proof.
A higher proof?
Yeah.
All right, here's Study Stealing Drink.
Wait, you missed a comment.
What? But that's just Derek Hall.
Oh, save that for, no. Is that tomorrow? Maybe you didn't.
No, I did not. I did not.
Good.
Derek
That was
Hall's
tomorrow's. You just swapped it.
I
Good,
got you.
because
I
it's
got
for
you,
the
Derek.
whiskey
I'm looking out.
I want to try.
Okay, here's Study Stealing Drink.
If you fight me, I fight for a friend.
May you steal your liver's heart.
Your liver's heart?
Yeah. You know, your liver needs love.
Yeah. And if you
And
drink.
you're not going to give it to it. You're going to take that heart. You're going to punish that liver.
May you drink with us.